Giant monsters, death knights, and massive dragons. If that sounds like your kind of fun, stick around. These Souls-like games, they're not for the weak, because this is the top 15 hardcore Souls-like games you can play right now. Number 15. Black Myth. Wukong is one of those games that, just instantly grabs your attention because of how absolutely stunning it looks. Built in Unreal Engine 5, it takes the legend of the Monkey King from Journey to the West and turns it into this dark, gritty action RPG. The combat feels so weighty. You've got that staff, the ability to transform into different creatures, and every move just looks like it has real impact. What's cool is how the bosses aren't just big monsters, but they're rooted in Chinese mythology, which makes every fight feel epic and meaningful. The environments are massive and detailed. Ancient temples, snowy mountains, corrupted forests, and it really feels like stepping into a living myth. What excites people the most, though, is the mix of fast, fluid combat and the almost cinematic presentation. It's kind of like Souls games, but with its own cultural twist. And honestly, it might set a new standard for myth-based action RPGs. Number 14. Dark Souls 3 is like the crown jewel of From Software's legacy before Elden Ring. It takes everything that worked in the earlier games and just polishes it to this insane degree. The world design is so interconnected. It's like every shortcut. Every hidden path makes you feel rewarded for exploring. The combat is brutal but fair, pushing you to master dodging, parrying, and learning enemy patterns. What makes it special is the atmosphere. Ruined cathedrals, ash-filled skies, grotesque enemies that feel straight out of a nightmare. And the bosses, wow, the Abyss Watchers, Pontiff Sulivan, the Nameless King, they're legendary not just for difficulty, but for the sheer spectacle. The game feels like a swan song for the original Souls trilogy, with so many callbacks and lore threads tying it all together. It's not just a hard game, it's this emotional journey through the ashes of a dying world. And it leaves a mark long after you put the controller down.
Farron's undead legion, the Abyss Watchers. And the reclusive lord of the profaned capital. Yon the Giant.
Number 13. Bloodborne is one of those games that, just doesn't let go of you once you've played it. It trades the slow, methodical combat of Dark Souls for something faster, more aggressive. You're not hiding behind shields here, you're dodging, countering with your gun, and staying on the offense. The gothic horror aesthetic is unmatched. Twisted cathedrals, eerie Victorian streets, and monsters that look like they crawled out of a Lovecraft story. The lore is deep and unsettling, peeling back layers of cosmic horror the more you dig in. And then there are the boss fights. Father Gascoigne, Lady Maria, Orphan of Kos. They're not just battles, they're emotional tests. Every encounter forces you to adapt, to learn, to get better. And what's wild is how the game rewards curiosity. Exploring every dark alley, reading every item description, it all builds this sense of dread and discovery. Bloodborne isn't just a game, it's an experience, and honestly, it's still unmatched in atmosphere. Number 12. Wukong, Fallen Dynasty takes the foundation of Nioh and kind of reshapes it into something fresh. Set in a dark fantasy version of the Three Kingdoms era of China, the game has you facing not just enemy soldiers, but mythological beasts twisted by chaos. The combat is really focused on precision. It's all about deflecting, countering, and managing your spirit gauge. It's fast, flashy, and every fight feels like a duel. The morale system is also a cool twist. Your power shifts depending on your performance, so even weaker enemies can overwhelm you if you're careless. The setting makes it stand out. Massive battlefields, ruined villages, and demonic versions of legendary generals. Boss fights are intense, testing both your reflexes and your ability to read patterns. It's punishing, but in that satisfying way where every victory feels earned. Wukong proves that Team Ninja is still a master at delivering challenging, stylish action RPGs.
Militia soldiers! Thank you for saving me. I'm glad you've recovered from your injuries.
I found you, bearer of the eternal elixir field.
Number 11. Nioh 2 is kind of the ultimate samurai fantasy, but with this supernatural twist that makes it way more intense. You create your own character this time, which gives you a stronger connection to the journey. Combat is ridiculously deep. You've got stances, Kai management, and a huge variety of weapons, each with its own playstyle. Then add the yokai abilities, where you can transform into these demonic forms or use monster powers against them, and it gets wild. The setting is a dark, war-torn Japan crawling with spirits and demons, blending history with mythology. Bosses are brutal, each designed to test different aspects of your skills. What really stands out is the loot and build system. You can endlessly tweak and customize your playstyle, making every run unique. It's challenging, sure, but it also rewards creativity and persistence. For fans of samurai and hardcore action RPGs, Nioh 2 is an absolute gem. Number 10. Lies of P is one of those games that sounds crazy on paper but just works so well. Imagine a dark, twisted version of Pinocchio, set in this Belle Epoque-inspired city filled with killer puppets. The atmosphere is gloomy but gorgeous. Gas-lit streets, abandoned theaters, and mechanical horrors around every corner. Combat is very Souls-like with deliberate dodges, parries, and stamina management, but it adds its own flavor with the weapon crafting system. You can mix and match weapon blades and handles to create your own playstyle, which is such a cool twist. The story is intriguing too, where the lies you tell shape your path and ending. And the bosses, massive mechanical beasts, grotesque puppets, and nightmarish creatures, each one feels like a set piece. Lies of P isn't just a clone, it's a game with real identity, pushing the genre into fresh territory. Honestly, it's one of the biggest surprises in the Souls-like space.
Your lies are a rare ability.
Geppetto's puppet, our only hope.
Power beyond your imagination.
Come back to me, Carlo.
Lie to protect yourself.
You stole my sister from me, rotten puppets!
Be careful, clever one.
Number 9. Lords of the Fallen is kind of the underdog that came back swinging. The reboot takes everything people criticized about the original and reinvents it into a massive, interconnected world that feels closer to Dark Souls in design. The game has this unique dual realm mechanic. You can shift between the living world, Axiom, and the realm of the dead, Umbral. That alone adds layers to exploration and combat, since enemies and secrets change depending on where you are. The visuals are dark, heavy, and atmospheric, with towering cathedrals and grotesque enemies everywhere. Combat is punishing but rewarding, offering tons of weapon types, magic, and builds. And the bosses, yeah, they're massive and grotesque, testing both your reflexes and endurance. What's cool is how it mixes that familiar Souls-like formula with its own identity. Exploring parallel worlds feels fresh, and it adds a sense of mystery to everything you do.
The fallen god's influence pervades the world again, corrupting even sworn enemies. Join his accursed Lord of the Fallen and damn humanity to a new age of devastation. Though from these darkest days, new heroes arise. To defy the gods, one must embrace the darkness. And so lies our only hope.
Number 8. Code Vein is often called anime Dark Souls, but it's more than just that. It takes the challenging combat of Souls games and wraps it in a post-apocalyptic, anime-inspired world full of ruined cities and vampiric revenants. What makes it stand out is the partner system. You're almost never alone, since you fight alongside an AI companion who actually makes a big difference in battle. The combat is flashy but still strategic, with the blood code system letting you swap classes and abilities on the fly, giving tons of flexibility. The bosses are stylish and brutal, with designs that feel straight out of a dark anime. Story-wise, it leans heavier into cutscenes and characters, so it feels more narrative-driven compared to other Souls-likes. Code Vein might not be as refined as Dark Souls or Bloodborne, but it offers something different, a mix of difficulty, style, and emotional storytelling that resonates with a lot of players. Number 7.
Ashen takes a different swing at the Souls-like formula, and yeah, it's not just about fighting bosses in dark corridors. The big twist? It's this open-world co-op thing where exploration matters as much as combat. You can team up with AI companions or real players who just drop in seamlessly. No big summon signs or menus, they just show up and vibe with you. Gameplay-wise, it's slower, more deliberate, and stamina still rules your life. Shields? Forget them. You're dodging or you're dead. What keeps it fresh is the way the world connects. It's not a straight dungeon crawl. You're building a community, unlocking NPCs who bring new skills and gear to your settlement, and that gives the whole journey this sense of progress beyond just beat the next boss. Visually, it's wild how much atmosphere they squeeze out of that minimalist look. No detailed faces, just flat shapes, muted colors, and massive landscapes that feel empty in a good way, like you're actually out in this lonely, dying world. Number 6. Mortal Shell comes from Cold Symmetry, a tiny team, like 15 people. But they went all in on this Souls-like formula and, honestly, pulled it off. Instead of picking a class, you take over these shells, and each one completely changes how you play. One's heavy and slow, another's agile, and then there's one that's basically all about magic. Combat? Brutal, but that harden mechanic, freezing mid-swing to block and then counter, feels amazing when you time it right. The atmosphere hits hard too. Everything looks dead and ancient, yeah, the world's been rotting for ages and it doesn't want you there. Misty paths, hollowed ruins, creepy chanting in the distance. This game's heavy on mood, not cheap scares. As for the story, it's cryptic. You're this lost soul answering to some dark father, finding scraps of lore and whispers and shell memories. It never spells stuff out. You either piece it together or stay in the dark. For a small indie team, man, they nailed that AAA vibe without the bloat. If you like that tight, punishing combat loop in a world that feels like it hates you, this one's worth the pain.
Until you fail. Then what? You're no god, but neither are they.
Number 5. Stranger of Paradise. This one is kind of wild. You're basically Jack, this dude who walks into Cornelia with one thing on his mind. Chaos. And that's not just a meme, his whole obsession drives the entire story. The game feels like someone mashed up classic Final Fantasy with, a gritty Souls-like energy. Combat's the big hook here. It's super fast and honestly kind of brutal. You're not just swinging swords, you're switching jobs mid-fight, pulling off magic combos, and breaking enemies with this crystal finish called Soul Burst. When that pops, oh man, it's satisfying. And there's a co-op option, so you can actually squad up for those harder missions. The story, it's interesting. You've got this prophecy stuff, crystals, light versus darkness, all that Final Fantasy DNA. Number 4. Demon's Souls kicks off in the doomed land of Boletaria, a kingdom swallowed by fog and demons after King Allant dared to tamper with forbidden soul arts. You're this nameless wanderer who wakes up in the Nexus, the one place where death's not permanent. And your path is simple. Fight through 5 twisted worlds, collect souls, and put the old one back to sleep. Or become its eternal servant. Gameplay is brutal and clever. You're not just swinging swords. Every move, dodge, or parry feels earned. Archstones let you hop between areas, each with its own distinct flavor, from grimy mines to haunted temples. Death hits hard, but so does learning from it. It's a dance of precision and caution, and man, the payoff when you finally overcome a boss, that rush never gets old. Visually, the remake is freaking stunning. Bluepoint rebuilt this world from the ground up for PS5. Ray-traced lighting, silky frame rates, HDR glows that bring fire and magic to life. The sheer texture detail, mossy stones, flickering torches, grotesque enemies, makes every hallway feel alive and unsettling. Number 3. Fallen Order kinda hits different for a Star Wars game. You're playing as Cal Kestis, this Padawan who barely made it out of Order 66 alive. He's just hiding, doing scrap work, trying not to draw attention. And then, boom! He's forced to use the Force again, and suddenly the Empire's hunting him. The whole deal turns into this galaxy-wide trip where you're not just running, you're digging into Jedi history, trying to rebuild what's left, and honestly, that story feels more personal than most Star Wars stuff lately. Now, the combat, man, it's tight. It's not just hack and slash. You really gotta think about timing, stamina, parries. Feels a bit Souls-like, but without being, rage-inducing. You've got force push, pull, slow, and as you unlock more, the game kinda opens up in that Metroidvania way, like, oh wait, I can get there now. And suddenly a planet feels new again. And visually, dude, it's cinematic. Each planet's got its own vibe. Overgrown jungles, icy cliffs, ancient ruins, lightsabers pop with that perfect glow, and the sound design? Chef's kiss. Even BD-1, your little droid buddy, adds this layer of charm that just makes exploring better.
You can't save them. No! Not from the Empire. Not from the dark side. Not from me.
Number 2. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice isn't your typical Souls-like. It's way more aggressive. You're playing as a shinobi named Wolf, sworn to protect a young lord in a brutal, war-torn Japan. Things go sideways fast, and when you lose your arm in the process, you wake up with a prosthetic packed with tools and weapons that change everything. The gameplay here, it's all about precision and posture. Forget hiding behind a shield. Sekiro forces you to stay on the offensive. Parries, deflections, and those perfectly timed sword clashes make every fight feel like a duel. Bosses? They're some of the most intense in any From Software game. And trust me, you're gonna die. A lot. But every death teaches you something. Story-wise, it's a little more direct than Dark Souls, but still layered with mystery. It mixes historical elements with dark, almost supernatural twists. Giant snakes, weird monks, and yeah, headless horrors waiting to ruin your day. Visually, it's gorgeous in a very grim way. Snowy mountains, burning castles, misty temples. It feels alive and dangerous at the same time.
Your journey into darkness will be fraught with challenge and surrounded by death. But if you execute different strategies in battle and leverage the powerful tools in your arsenal, you can rise to any challenge.
Number 1. Elden Ring doesn't bother with long explanations or tutorials. It drops you straight into the lands between and leaves you to figure things out on your own. You're a Tarnished, basically an outcast dragged back to restore order by claiming the Elden Ring. Sounds straightforward, but this world, it's massive, open, and full of stuff that wants you dead. This isn't your typical linear Souls game. It's open world, but not empty. You've got dungeons, legacy castles, bosses lurking in the wild, and secrets in literally every corner. The combat's classic From Software, tough but fair, but now with way more freedom. You can sneak, summon spirits, or just ride your spectral horse and swing a giant sword at a dragon. It's brutal and rewarding. The story's not spoon-fed. Instead, it's scattered across item descriptions, cryptic NPC dialogue, and that trademark mysterious vibe From Soft loves. And yeah, George R.R. Martin helped craft the lore, so it's layered and deep if you're into piecing it together. This one's From Software at their peak, and honestly, it set a new bar for open-world design. No icons, no hand-holding, just pure exploration and danger.
Come now, touch the withered arm, and travel to the realm of shadow. I will not be far behind. May we meet again.